So, let's take a look. It's been a few minutes. I can breathe a little better. This tells me my oxygen levels in my blood are at 70 right now. My heart rate is at 22. I should be at 100. So anybody under 90 is shouldn't be enough oxygen to be normally supplying their organs and causing brain damage. But this is just basically how I walk around. And after having this for maybe 10, 15 years, oh, and I'm on oxygen while this is reading. So if you could imagine, before I found out about this, I had no idea that I was walking around at like 70, 60% oxygen. My boss, I used to be a construction worker, and I'd work like, normal 8-hour days, and then go to my side jobs, work another 4, 5, 6 hours, and come home. And my boss would look at me, and we'd start talking. I'd start gasping, and he'd laugh, and he'd be like, "All right, calm down. Just calm down. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth." And then he'd wait, because I was one of his foremen, so then he'd have to tell me what he'd have to do, and I'd get out of my truck, and I'd walk up the driveway, and I'd lean on the garage for a while and gasp and just get my air together, so when I knocked on the door, I didn't look like a circus freak. Like, "Hi, I'm Jason, your painter." There's no really telling what causes what I have. IPF, which is idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. Idiopathic means unknown, pulmonary means lung, and fibrosis means scarring. So I have unknown scarring of my lungs. So my lungs basically are just kind of like eating themselves alive and causing all these scars over tissue that absorbs the air that I breathe and pumps it into my bloodstream. So lungs are not something that, like, once they're damaged, you could turn around and they're healed. So homeopathic methods, although they do help in some cases with some symptoms, like, there's no cure for my disease. The best way that my doctor explained it to me is I have a fatal diagnosis and I have a chronic condition. The best way that they know how to do it is to manage my my symptoms and to keep me comfortable. Luckily, I'm young. I'm 36 years old. I have 3 wonderful, beautiful kids. I'm married. My doctor suggested that I get on permanent disability, but that's just not something for me. With permanent disability, with the state of what that would mean is I'd make enough money to live in a cardboard box and pray that my wife found somebody that could support my kids and her better. So I still work. I drive for Uber now because that's something that I can do. That's some genius idea that me and my Uncle Jeff came up with. I was blessed enough to have family members to come out of the woodwork for me and help me out, buy me a nice car so that people want to drive in my car and Uber. With things like this there's like different ways that you could take it. I know there's a lot of people out there that would get like a diagnosis like mine and curl up into a ball. And trust me, when I found out about this, for a good little while, I was devastated. This is not something that you'd want to hear. But then, weird things started happening. I'm wearing a Venom shirt. I'm part of an amazing comic book collectors community. I've followed my dreams of like one day making a comic book and started a small comic book company where I get to print my own comic books. I don't have a comic printer. I just commission them to be done. But still, I get my company name on the back of cool comic books. That means the world to me. And even if I leave this earth one day soon, I have a mark that I left for my kids to go, my dad made that, you know? So that's really cool for me. That comic community has come together, whether it's been friends of mine that run auctions or there's been actual artists that have donated portions of all the money that they've earned in that particular week to my cause. I have a GoFundMe page that has earned like $1,800. I have a group of Indian princess friends that I went to full pulmonary failure on December 22nd, my wife's birthday. I went to full pulmonary failure that evening. What that means is air was going in and out of my lungs as I was breathing, but my lungs were not transferring that air into my bloodstream. So I was just making weird sounds with my lungs. And luckily for me, my wife was the only one awake. My kids were asleep. They didn't get to see me. But we had that moment that, you know, that come to God moment, like, because I'm stubborn. I've struggled with this for 10 years, 13 years, where my wife's like, you need to go to the hospital, you sound like crap. I used to smoke, so 6 years ago when I quit smoking, I thought, hey, this will fix everything. And that's just the problem. It just didn't. It slowly got worse. My fingers, if you notice, I could phone home if I wanted to.